Roy Keane has his way, and that is Roy Keane's way, both as a player, probably as a coach, as you probably know if you look at what's happened with his coaching career, and what he does as a pundit. So Roy Keane was terrific for Sky TV. What I would say is I would have handled that totally differently. David De Gea did not need Roy Keane to go on a rant for him to know that he made an error. And all I would say is, in looking at it, and I would always balance it, and it would be, I'd do the same if I was talking about Joe Hart, if I was talking about Tom Heaton, Mark Poon when I was at Derby, Lee Grant at Derby, who's now at Man United, Joe Hart. What I would say is he's now coming up to 400 games for Manchester United. I think if he plays the next game, which is obviously tomorrow night at Brighton, I think he's level on games with Peter Schmeichel. He's going to make 400 games within the next 2 weeks. You don't play 400 games for one of the biggest clubs in the world and not be a very, very good goalkeeper. Yes, he's had his dips, but if you've been at a club 9 years, Peter Schmeichel went to the club when he was 28, and Peter, everybody thinks what a great career he had. Sir Alex has done it, and so I'm not giving anything away. He's actually spoken about it. He had a very, very tough time on his first 2-3 months, as did David for 5-6 months. But we knew David was 20 years of age. He's coming up to 30, and he's played 400 games for Manchester United. So my answer to that would be, have a look what he's won, have a look at what he's contributed. Yes, he will know he's made the error. But what I do know is with David, the character he's got, the strength of character, his demeanour, back to a bit like Mo's, the calmness, he won't be bothered. I bet he hasn't even watched it. It would have took somebody else to email him or Twitter or whatever to tell him. He would go straight over his head. And that is the way. So, as I say, he came to the football club at Man United as a winner. He'd won the Europa League. He'd won the under-21s with Spain. He'd since won that again. He'd won the Super Cup. And he'd won the Euro under-17s when I was there when they beat England. So he came into the club as a winner at 20 years of age. He's now since gone on to win Premier League, Europa, FA Cup, Community Shields, and he's then up to nearly 400 games. So you don't become a fantastic goalkeeper overnight or a fantastic player. So I think, yes, he's had a bit of a rough ride over the last 8-9 months. But then when you think it's his 9th year at the football club, the pressures, he's played under 4 or 5 different managers. He's had to work with 4 or 5 different goalkeeping coaches. So ultimately, David will rise again. And obviously, part of that demeanour is his character will come through. And they've gone now 13 games unbeaten. He's conceded, 3 goals in them games, of which he's missed 2 because they were both cup ties at Derby and Norwich. So his record's there. But unfortunately, it was something, I don't think I spoke about it in the article. Every club I've been at, you've got a perfect wall behind you, because I always used to want a corner where I used to have my desk. I want a GK corner. So I'd be in that corner behind you there. And I would put, first day I'd walk in, I'd put it laminated on the wall. Goalkeeper law number 1. When you do it right, no one remembers. When you do it wrong, no one forgets. So unfortunately, as a goalkeeper, you are going to live by that. He will rise and he will come again. And like I said, I'm just looking forward to the next. Potentially, he could be there for another 10 years. Now, ultimately, we don't know what will happen because he's got the competition now from Dean Henderson, etc. But what an asset he's been to that football club. 17 million he cost in 2011. That's not a bad investment in terms of a return. If you're a businessman looking at that, that's some return on what he's given the football club in terms of the medals and trophies that they've won. Nobody else has done it. He's won 4 Player of the Years. He's been in the PFA team 5 times. So I think that might be the best response to Roy.